बोलिए लाडली लाल की लाडली लाल की जय। सियावर रामचंद्र की जय। श्रीमद् सद्गुरु सरकार की जय। गुरुराराधना दिश्च गुरुः परमदैवतम् गुरोः परतरं नास्ति कृपालु गुरवे नमः। गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णुर् गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुः साक्षात् परब्रह्म तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः। चेतो दर्पण मार्जनम् भवमहा दावाग्नि निर्वापणम् श्रेयः कैरवचन्द्रिका वितरणम् विद्यावधू जीवनम् आनन्दाम्बुधि वर्धनं प्रतिपदं पूर्णामृता स्वादनं सर्वात्मस्नपनं परं विजयते श्रीकृष्ण संकीर्तनम्। नमः कमलना भाय नमः कमलमालिने नमः कमल नमस्ते कमलेक्षण यो ब्रह्माणं विदधाति पूर्वं यो वै वेदांश्च प्रणोति तस्मै तग्वं हा देवमात्मबुद्धिप्रकाशं मुमुक्षुर्वै शरणमहं प्रपद्ये। Dear devotees of God and Gurudev, let's chant for 5 minutes the sweetest names of Shri Krishna. Bhajo Giridhar Govind Gopala. Let's do Rup Dhyan as we chant. Bhajo Giridhar Govind Gopala Bhajo Giridhar Govind Gopala Bhajo श्रीमद् सद्गुरु सरकार की जय। Devotional listeners, now I humbly request your full attention. If you have your cell phone with you, would you kindly make sure it will not ring for the next hour? There is something we face in everyday life, everyone, without exception, and that is stress. Even little children say, I'm so stressed out, because they hear their parents say this, they hear other adults say this. So even they talk about stress, perhaps not even understanding what it is. But there's no one who is exempt from stress. If there is a change in your environment, you will become stressed. If you move from one house to another, there's a stress of moving. It affects the body and it affects, therefore, the mind. There is a very great connection between the body and mind. Now, stress is not necessarily a bad thing, because if it's managed correctly, then stress can make a student work harder, study harder. It can make newly appointed CEO of a worldwide organization work more intelligently. It can make us better. if we handle stress properly, then it's a very positive thing. Problem is when we mismanage it. When we don't manage it correctly, then it affects our body and it affects our mind. Physically, stress can lead to ulcers, migraines, headaches, migraines. It can lead to high blood pressure. It can lead to shaking of the body. It can lead to many physical ills, discomforts of the body. So, in order to manage stress, so that we are healthier physically as well as mentally, we need to go to the mind. Again, because of the body-mind connection. We do need to go to the mind, but there are some things we can do at the physical level. Many things we can do at the physical level to be able to manage stress better. One thing that the Bhagavad Gita tells us is that if we eat proper food, healthy food, sattvic food, and if we get enough rest, enough sleep, but not too much, if we get the right amount of food, right type of food, and if we get the right amount of sleep, then that can go a long way in keeping us healthy, both physically and mentally. Natyashnatastu yogosti na chaikanta manashnataha na chati swapnashilasya jagrato naiva charjuna. Yuktahara viharasya yukta cheshtasya karmasu yukta swapnavabodhasya yogo bhavati dukkhaha. In these 2 verses of the 6th chapter, Lord Krishna advises Arjun, tells Arjun about proper nourishment, the importance of proper nourishment and proper amount of sleep. In Chandogya Upanishad it is said, Ahara Shuddhau Sattva Shuddhihi Sattva Shuddhau Dhruvas Smritihi. Meaning, if you eat sattvic food, fresh food, vegetarian food, food that is not overcooked or overspiced, food that is lightly cooked, that food will make your mind pure. It will keep your mind pure. It will introduce pure thoughts into the mind. And once the mind is pure, it's all that much easier to meditate on God. So you see the food and the mind connection. There was once a guru who was telling his disciples about the food and mind connection. And one of the students, one of the disciples said, Guruji, I don't mean to challenge you, but I am asking out of curiosity, how is it that food affects the mind? You say, Jaisa anna vaisa man, you are what you eat, but I don't understand this. Please explain. So Guruji said, Beta, I want you to fast today. Don't eat anything. It wasn't the kind of fast where you eat jalebis and other kinds of sweets and you eat everything else but certain grains. It was a real fast where you don't eat anything. So abstain from food today. And the disciple did that. He was very surrendered. He did exactly that. The next day, Guruji said, today also, don't eat anything. This went on for a few days and the disciple was feeling very weak and he couldn't even think straight. He was a very intelligent fellow, but he couldn't think straight. And Guruji summoned him and said, you know that shlok from the Gita, chapter 5, verse number 3, can you recite that? And the disciple was silent. He scratched his head. He said, I don't remember. I don't remember. Guruji said, you don't remember? You've memorized the entire Gita, you don't remember that? No. So then Guruji said to the other disciples, give this boy something to eat, some light soup. And he was fed that. The next day some khichdi, and in this way he came back to his normal diet. And then Guruji called him and asked him a tougher question, and he answered it with ease. because now he is nourished and he is able to think better. His memory was affected because he had not eaten. I'll tell you another story about, and this is a true story, of a young man who was incarcerated in India because of he was not a criminal. He had spoken up against, he was a political activist, so he was put in jail for something that he had said and something he was trying to propagate. He was innocent, really. So he was in jail, and one day when his father came to visit him, he saw that this young man, his son, was very disturbed, and he asked, "Son, beta kya hua? Kya baat hai, batao? What is wrong with you? Tell me." And the son said, "Father, how can I even tell you? I have these strange thoughts." "What kind of thoughts?" "Father, you know I love my mother." "Yes, of course, there's no doubt that you love her. Then why is it that I have thoughts of murdering her?" "What? Why?" And the young man said, "I don't understand why." The father was very wise. He said, let me see. He went to the kitchen in the prison. It's like a city in there. There's a pharmacy, naturally there's a kitchen to feed the prisoners, but everything's in the prison. So he went to the kitchen and he asked, "Who is cooking the meals for the prisoners?" And he was told the regular chef, he is a cook, he is ill, so one of the inmates has been cooking. "May I ask what the inmate is incarcerated for?" "Oh, he murdered his mother. That's why he's in jail." "Oh, I understand." True story. A man who had murdered his mother is cooking the meals, and his vibrations have gone into the meal, and the prisoner who loves his mother he has eaten this meal, and he has thoughts that have been transferred through the inmate into the food. So that food he ate affected his mind. So we should not take this lightly. In order to beat stress, in order to manage it properly, we need to first of all do the easy thing. Do the easy fix. Let's eat properly. If we haven't been eating properly, let's just change our diet and eat properly. Eat healthy food. And get proper amount of rest. Not too much nor too little. Middle path is always the best. Another thing that we can do is that we should keep the company of those who will give us good advice. We all ask for advice from family members, friends, neighbors, fellow satsangis. It's very important to keep the company of those who are wiser than us. They will give us good advice. It's very important to have good friends. A good friend will not agree with everything you say. If he disagrees with you, he won't say, "Oh yeah, you're right." He will say, "No, this is not right. You're not doing the right thing." That's a good friend. This is why it has been said by saints that God is our best friend, because He is inside of us. He lives inside of us, and when we are doing something wrong, He gives us a little nudge. "You're not doing this right. This is not right." We call it our conscience. Our conscience tells us, "You're not doing the right thing." The still small voice of God tells us. So it's important to have good friends who will not just say yes to everything we say. I'll present a scenario in front of you. There's a girl, and she's talking to her friend, and she's saying, "You know what? Meena told me, just yesterday she told me, that Tina was really talking against me. She was backbiting me. Can you believe that?" "So then what did you do?" I went to Tina and I let her have my mind. I just spoke my mind. I let her have it. I spoke to her and I scolded her. I fought with her. I argued with her. And she kept saying, you know what? I don't know what you're talking about. And I said, I don't want anything to do with you anymore. Now, mind you, Meena and Tina are best friends. But she's telling this other one, I don't want to have anything to do with Tina. And I told her that. She kept on talking to me, and I said, you know what, talk to the hand. I don't want anything to do with you. I don't want to listen to you. I'm not listening to you. You have talked against me. You have spoken against me, and I want nothing to do with you. No more friendship. So this one who is who she's talking to, if she's foolish, she will say, you did a good thing. That's good. Who needs friends like that? She's not a friend. She will try to make the situation even worse. But if it's a wise friend, she would say, you know, why is it that you accepted Meena's words to be the truth, but Tina's words you did not believe? Why are you so picky? Meena told you something and you said you took it to be the gospel truth, and Tina said something and you didn't accept it. Can you tell me why you believed one over the other? No, I don't know why. I just did. Well, you shouldn't do that. And also, what kind of friend is Meena to you? Even if Tina had said something against you, she shouldn't have said anything to you. Why would she try to disturb your mind like that? That's not good. But since she did, then you needed to at least ask Tina, hey Tina, did you really say this? Ask her rather than fight with her. Ask her. She's been a good friend to you, right? She's been one of my best friends. Then don't you think you owe her the courtesy? Don't you think that when she was explaining things to you, you should have given her benefit of the doubt? I suppose. Why don't you go and apologize? Just mend your relationship with her. Okay, it's tough, but I'll do it. So a wise friend will give you good advice. And a lot of that stress that comes our way, if we just ask for advice from someone who is wise, then we can stay away from that stress. That much stress we don't need. So that stress will be managed properly. But you know, when we talk about stress management, we have to talk about God and devotion to God. There's no quick fix. There's no tablet we can take that will help us to manage stress beautifully. There's no mantra that we can recite every day that will help us manage stress. We have to bring God into the mind. Meditation has been long hailed as an antidote for stress. And meditation, not the meditation that tells you you should meditate on your breath, inhale and exhale and meditate on your breath. Not the kind of meditation that tells you, okay, here's your nose, try to meditate on your nose, you become cross-eyed. Meditate on your third eye. Meditate on a flame, light a candle, just keep staring at it. Meditate on light. All this will help you focus, no doubt. But it will not help you beat stress. The meditation that is very effective in managing stress is Rup Dhyan. The meditation that has been recommended by Jagadguru Sri Kripaluji Maharaj. We're not just meditating on the third eye or the flame or on the breath, but on God, on Radha and Krishna. Because meditating on the breath will not inspire any kind of loving feelings. Meditating on the candle will not inspire any love. We don't fall in love with the flame. But when we meditate on Radha and Krishna, then their qualities will enter our minds. And Radha and Krishna are all about love and compassion and grace. So we start to receive those qualities. And those are all antidotes for stress. So the devotee, the aspiring devotee, the sadhak, who is doing sadhana and trying his best to do Rup Dhyan every day, what's happening is that he's bringing anti-stressors into his mind. He is able to deal with stress better because his faith in God is growing. And when as his faith grows, he has less worries. He leaves his life in the hands of God and Guru. So as Sri Maharaj Ji says in Prem Ras Madira, Shri Radhe Hamari Sarkar Fikir Mohi Kahe Ki. Radha Rani is my Swamini, so why should I worry about anything? The sadhak sings these words, Shri Radhe Ju Hamari Sarkar Fikir Mohi Kahe Ki. Eventually, he internalizes these thoughts. Indeed, why do I need to worry? Radharani is there to take care of me. I will outsource all my worries to Radharani, Sri Krishna and my Gurudev. Why should I bother with anything? They're there to help me. They're there to take care of me. I will not worry about anything. But as faith grows, problems that we have in the mind, they also go down. Faith is growing, the problems keep on shrinking. And there's so many causes for the problems that the so-called problems we have, the ones that cause stress. For instance, there's financial stress. So someone said to me, and I'm so worried, and I asked why. I'm so stressed out, and why? May I help you? Can I help you? Tell me what you're stressed out about. Well, our business is failing, and every day we are incurring financial loss. So, what is the worst that can happen? I asked. Will you lose your home? Will you be out on the streets? Will you have no longer any money to afford food? And she laughed and she said, no, it's not going to be that bad. So what's the worst that will happen? Let's just accept the worst case scenario. Let's think about it and accept it. And she said, we'll probably have to move into a smaller house. I said, that's it? You're living in a mansion. So you live in a smaller house. There's only 2 of you living. Kids are out of the house. Is that a bad thing? Is that really a tragedy? Is this a tale of tragedy? No, I guess not. You'll have enough food to eat? Oh, yes. So then what are you worried about? We don't even know why we are worried. So if we just accept the worst case scenario, we don't worry. Chances are it won't even happen. But we get stressed out just thinking, I don't know if I have enough money. You've got so much saved up. And how much are you spending? Well, I hardly spend anything. What are you worried about? Take a good look at your finances, how much you have. Oh my goodness, that's a lot in the bank. And yet you're worried, financially you're worried. Why? How much are you spending? Well, you're spending a little bit every month, and you've got so much. How long is your life going to be? Just calculate it, every month how much you'll need. And then for emergencies, how much you'll need. You've got so much left over. What are you worried about? I don't know, I guess I'm just in the habit of worrying about it. From the time when I had no money, but now the situation is different, isn't it? You have enough to live on, you have enough to donate, you have nothing to worry about. I guess so, but I'm just used to it. But that was a different scenario when you didn't have anything. Now you have plenty, don't worry about it. So sometimes we worry about something that we don't need to worry about. So we need to ask our mind, hey, what are you really worried about? What are you stressed out about? I don't know about you, but I do that. Sometimes when I'm not feeling feeling a little uncomfortable, I ask myself, what is the reason behind this? And the reason is always something very foolish. It's very foolish. It's nothing to worry about. That's what we need to do. Just need to ask the mind, what are you really worried about? What's this stress all about? Oh yes, and anyone here who is addicted to social media, here's an easy way of getting rid of stress. Sign off from all those social media platforms. Just don't be on them. Because social media platforms are messing people's minds like nothing else. Because people are looking at other people's lives and they think that's the reality. I ask you, do you put your reality on social network, social media? Nobody does. People will go to the extent of using different backgrounds to suggest to others that they've been to Paris, they've been to Rome, they have been all over the world. And foolish people are watching them saying, oh my goodness, my friends are going all over Europe, and look at me, I'm just stuck in Toronto. I'm just stuck over here. I don't go anywhere. So we try to compare with others by looking at what they are posting online on those social media platforms, and we take it to be the truth, and we are just getting stressed out unnecessarily. It's become a huge problem, especially for young people. But if the wise ones, and I've met many of them, they just sign off. I don't want to be part of this because I got so stressed out. This one is saying this one is saying that. I didn't get enough likes. I didn't get as many likes as her. And why didn't you like my photo? Why didn't you do this? Why didn't you do that? And so much stress. It used to be that students would only worry about studies. Now it's studies, less studies, but more fashion, keeping up with others, what others will think of me, what kind of shoes I'm wearing, what kind of clothes I'm wearing, what kind of makeup I have, this and that. It's so much about everything else and a little bit about studies. There's always a good and bad part about everything. So social media platforms, they have their purpose, good purpose also, but you may have heard that the people who have come up with all this technology, they won't even allow their children to be on social media, right? You've heard that. There's documentary, I've seen it, and they just, no, it's very addictive, and they will not let their children see that. So, signing off from social media, it's a wonderful thing. But ultimately, while we do all this, it's the scriptures that have the answer, the long-lasting answer for beating stress, and that is develop faith in God. Accept that God, whatever God gives is His grace. It's an indication of His grace. There was a devotee who visited Sri Maharaji. She went for Maharaji's darshan, and Maharaji was asking about her family, and she talked about her family, and she said, Maharaji, one of my children is mentally challenged. And as she was saying this, her eyes became moist. Sri Maharaji said, don't let those tears fall. Do not cry. God has given you this child. You must take care of him, but you must never be upset. You must never be sad. Regard this child to be a gift from God. Do not ever be sad. Do not ever cry. Sri Maharaji did not allow her tears to fall, because that would be an insult to God. So developing faith that everything that God gives to me is the best thing for me. It's the best gift from God. We have always thought that gifts from God, good gifts from God are, or actually any gift from God is good, but in our minds, we have thought that gifts from God come in the form of loads of money and investments doing well on the stock market and children doing well. And people say, no, my son is becoming a doctor. My daughter is becoming doctor. Like this, that, oh yes, So my child is succeeding, it's a grace of God. What if the child drops out of medical school and wants to become an artist? Oh my goodness, I have failed. God has failed me too. He dropped out of engineering school, now he wants to be a DJ? Oh my God, he'll kill me. He will kill me one day. He's killing me. Because now he's not succeeding. So, we have made up these thoughts that what success means, what failure means, and what the gift of God means. So we have thought always that the gifts of God come in the form of lots of money, children doing well, and good health for myself and my family, immediate family. Who cares about the rest of the world? So all these are gifts from God. But what if the opposite happens? Now, if we had not been introduced to true devotion by our beloved Gurudev, we would not have been able to face the challenges that come in everyone's life. Many people, they become deathly ill when they are faced with challenges. Again, a true story, I've heard about someone who said that his neighbor fought with him about the parking space, and his elderly father, who was visiting from India, he heard this dispute and he had a heart attack. So he was hearing this and he said, I can't take this, the neighbor's talking to you like this, clutched his heart and fell down. We would not know how to deal with the challenges in life when there are adverse conditions in life, had it not been for Sri Maharaj-ji introducing true devotion. So the real solution, I would say, for stress, a real tool for stress management is devotion. Devotion to God and Guru, faith in God and Guru. Because when we have faith, then we are able to accept anything and everything as an indication of His grace. We hear about saints such as Narsi Mehta, very inspiring. His house is burning down, he's lost everything, and he's dancing in the streets. People thought he's gone mad. He's singing in the streets. Bhalum thayum bhangi janjal, sukhi bhajishu Shri Gopal. Thakurji must have thought this house is a distraction, so he took it away. He thought my family was a distraction, took them all away. This is what he's saying. This is what he believes. How did he become so strong? Spiritually so strong that he can even think this way? We cannot. He was thinking this way, he's thanking God because of devotion. He's able to accept everything as God's grace. Devotion gives us power. First of all, acquiring knowledge from the Guru. It is so important. Let's take it systematically. So first of all, we must receive true knowledge from a true Guru, a genuine Guru. Uttishtat, the Vedas say, Uttishtat Jagrat Prapya Varan Nibodhat. Manushyo, Manushyo utho, जागो और वरान यानी महापुरुष के पास जाकर के ज्ञान प्राप्त करो, मेरा ज्ञान प्राप्त करो. O humans, awaken, arise, and seek the association of a true Guru so that he may tell you about God, so that he may teach you about God. So first thing is knowledge. This is why Sri Maharaj-ji has given thousands and thousands of lectures. This is why Sri Maharaj-ji always said, do not be negligent about listening to lectures. Listen, listen, listen. Because sometimes when we listen, we're not in the right frame of mind. Our mind is not conducive to understanding anything at that point. Next time we listen, it's a little bit more conducive. But there comes a point when we've listened to the same thing again and again, then finally we say, aha. That aha moment comes, I get it. But we've heard this 10 times or 12 times, dozens of times before, but that at that moment, the mind is just ready to receive the knowledge and to accept it. We don't know when that moment will come, so we must listen again and again. So acquiring knowledge. Siddhanta boliya chitte nakar alas. Gauranga Mahaprabhu has said, don't be negligent about listening to divine teachings, knowledge of scriptures. And then we must ask questions. Again, questions that are not born of a doubting mind, but born of an inquisitive mind. Guruji, I don't understand this concept. Please explain. And getting a clarity. I understand conclusively why I must do this. I understand very clearly why God is only merciful and never merciless. So those concepts, divine spiritual concepts, are now lucid, very clear, crystal clear. And then we practice devotion. Karma sannyas sadhana, karma yoga sadhana, very easy concepts. They become easy because we've understood them from the Guru of Gurus, Jagat Guruji Maharaj. So the concepts become clear, then we practice devotion. We do it properly. Because we understand that devotion is not done with the senses, not with sights, senses of sight, smells or sound, taste, touch. It is done through the mind. It is done by the mind. And so we employ our mind in the practice of devotion. So because the mind is being engaged in devotion, the mind keeps receiving the strength and the power of God. The mind of a person who practices devotion is very different from someone who does not, the mind of someone who does not practice devotion. Your mind, before you started practicing devotion, in the way Sri Maharaj has taught us, is different now from your mind before you started practicing devotion. And everybody knows that. Everybody can tell, yes, I am stronger now. My mind is stronger. I'm able to accept so much that I was not able to accept earlier. I am able to control my anger. I'm able, much better. Not totally, but much better. I'm able to handle my attachments much better. Yes, I see that they have reduced quite a bit. My greed is less than what it used to be. Now I tend to be greedy for satsang. We can feel that about ourselves. We can experience that. We do. If you say, well, no, devotion to God has not done anything to my mind, then that doesn't make sense. Or maybe, we're doing it wrongly. No, but I've learned how to do it correctly from my Guru and I'm doing it genuinely. Well, then you know that you have benefited. You are much stronger, internally much stronger. You are able to face the challenges of life in a more effective way. Now the stress may be, I'm not getting enough time to do devotion. That's a wonderful stress. I'm really stressed out. There was a teenager who told me, I'm really stressed out. Why? What's giving you stress? I'm not crying enough for God. And internally I said, wow, that's so good. Well, that's a really good stress to have. I'm just not finding that much time to do more seva. That's a good stress. So the nature of stress changes. But that's a good problem to have. But that's my stress. I'm not loving God and Guru enough. I'm not doing enough seva. I am not shedding enough tears. But for this to happen, God, Guru, and devotion have to be the solution that we accept. Without devotion, there is no way we can beat stress. There is no way. But if you say there is a person, I know a lady who doesn't really get stressed out, and she takes it really well, and she doesn't do any devotion. Well, You don't see her doing devotion. First of all, we don't know who's doing devotion, who's not doing devotion. Devotion is something within, so we cannot tell. But even if she's not doing any devotion, how is she able to handle stress? It's because she has been given the credit for the devotion she has done in the past. That credit has been given to her, and so she is able to be a calm person. She doesn't get stressed out, where others are saying, hey, you know what, this is happening, and they're walking around, running around in a situation like chickens with their heads cut off. And she is just calm. She's a picture of calmness. How? Devotion. If not from this life, then from previous lives. That's how it is. Thank God that we get credit for the devotion that we have practiced before, previously, in previous lives. Otherwise, where would we be? So the actions of our previous lives are turning into reactions, and we're getting those fruits of those previous actions. And that is why this particular lady is able to remain calm in the midst of a storm. But devotion, without devotion, it cannot happen. So just as a person who wants to be physically healthy needs to work on it every day. It's not like I just ate a healthy meal and I don't feel any different. Well, you need to eat healthy. You need to have healthy eating habits. Every day you need to do something to promote good health. You need to eat good food, sattvic food. You need to eat healthy food. You need to make good decisions. It's not going to happen overnight that you'll become healthy by eating one healthy meal. We know that. So in the same way, when we do devotion, we start becoming stronger and stronger. It doesn't happen overnight, but it does happen over a period of time. And it doesn't take that long either. It doesn't take a whole lifetime. It's very quick. It is very fast. Granted that on the condition that we are practicing devotion diligently. So Rup Dhyan, faith in God and Guru, devotion, daily practice. There's no magic formula. There's no magic formula that works anywhere. But it's just doing the same thing over and over again. And our mind says, same thing over and over again. I need something new. But doing same thing over and over again, that is what we need to do. Same thing over and over again. Everyday sadhana. Every day we need to do some seva. Every day we need to do satsang in one form or the other. Whether it's on the iPhone or on the iPad or through your TV screen, we need to do some satsang, need to do sadhana, need to do seva. In the long run, we become very capable of managing stress properly, so that when there's a change in life, and we do become stressed when there's a change in life, change in residence, change of any sort, although we know that the only constant in life is change. The only constant in life is change. Life, there will always be changes. And yet, we don't manage it well. So, all the solutions that have been given to us, eating properly, getting enough rest, getting enough sleep, but not overdoing it either, keeping good company, keeping the company of the wise ones, doing sadhana every day, increasing our faith, doing Rup Dhyan, all these solutions will work, mostly the spiritual solutions. Now, when we used to see observing our Gurudev, we always saw that he was always calm. Always. No matter what was happening to him or around him, he was always calm. Never agitated. Never disturbed. When Shri Maharaji came to the West in 2005 and then 2007, everything was different climate. He went from India to England and it was bitterly cold over there. Everything changed, his residence changed and people around him changed, the weather changed. And I called Sri Maharaji from Trinidad and I said, Maharaji, what do you think of England? Sri Maharaji said, the whole world is the same. The same people, the same Maya, everything is the same. So he was the same everywhere he went. Sri Maharaji came from California to Dayton, Ohio, came to the Midwest. And his time zone changed by 3 hours. But he didn't change, he was the same. He followed his schedule, went to sleep, and at the right time, at his time, nothing changed. He was always the same. So that's an inspiration for us, that no matter what's happening on the outside, let's remain the same on the inside. Let's remain calm. Let's be calm. Let's be at peace. Let's accept that changes will come. Sometimes I'll be the picture of health, and sometimes I will not be. Sometimes I will be sick. Sometimes I will have the approval of my peers and my friends and family members. And sometimes I will not. They will not agree with anything I say. They will fight with me. They will quarrel with me. They won't agree with me. I'll accept it. There's a change, but I'll accept it because that's the nature of the world. Sometimes I'll have money, sometimes I won't. But God is like that sometimes He will challenge me to improve me. So I'll accept that as His grace. So no matter what is happening, how many changes there are in life, in our life conditions and in our circumstances, and no matter what's going on around us, we must always stay the same, calm inside, devotional, peaceful, knowing that Sri Radhe Hamari Sarkar. So fikir wahi kahegi. Why should I worry when Radharani is taking care of me? She knows what to give me. I'm her child. I'm her newborn child. She knows. She's my mother. She will take care of me. Now the mind does not remember this. So we need to remind the mind again and again. And we need to talk to the mind. Maharaji used to say, by reason, man ko samjhao. Man ko ye karan do, ki usko aisa kyun karna chahiye. So we need to talk to the mind. Hey, what's going on? Why are you so troubled? What's going on with you? What's bothering you? We need to talk to the mind. We need to then look at the problem and give the mind a solution. Sometimes the solution is, okay, the mind says, these people around me or this one person always talks like this to me and disturbs me. It's an easy solution. Don't hang around this person. Unless that person is your own spouse, your own family member, you can't get away from them. Now, sometimes the easy solution is don't hang around that person. Somebody said this to me many years ago. Someone said, one of the satsangis, he said, where I live, my landlady, she goes to another satsang and she always asks me, why aren't you coming to my temple? Why are you with the Radhe Radhe group? And every day it's the same thing. She's very nice otherwise, but she really disturbs me. What should I do? I said, just move. Just move. Why go through this again and again? Sometimes the solution is that. So the mind will be disturbed, but we need to understand what it's disturbed about and then suggest a solution. Here's what we're going to do. Just think of the mind to be a different, separate entity from you, and then talk to it and give it solutions and say, okay, we're doing better, aren't we? I suppose. No, you'll do better. You'll be good. So when we talk about stress, it's a part of life, but it's not normal that we don't handle it well. We can handle it. Stress does not have to be negative. We can handle it properly, and then it turns into something positive. And there's something called a coal. And when there is stress put on it, a lot of burden put on it, right? So much pressure put on it, one day it becomes a diamond. So we too can become like that. All the pressures that life puts on us, we don't have to let them bring us down. We can actually handle everything well, and we can become like a diamond. बोलिए वृंदावन बिहारी लाल की जय, श्रीमद् सद्गुरु सरकार की जय, जय जय श्री राधे, जय जय श्री राधे, जय जय श्री